Well, hello. I hope you are all doing well. My name is Mon, and I am bringing you the Life is Strange reunion reveal stream analysis. You can see the cat in the background. So the trailer analysis got a very, very positive reception, and I'm really glad a lot of you enjoyed it. It was so nice to see you all take part in the comments, share your own theories, add to what was said in the video. It really felt like we were back in 2015 discussing the first game. That's literally what it felt like, and it was beautiful. It was so nice. So thank you so much for taking part. I'm so glad you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy this one too. Same rules apply as earlier. This is all just for fun, not to be taken seriously. We're just doing this to pass the time until the game's out, have a bit of fun, and just let our imaginations run wild, basically. Trailer has been done. We are going to jump straight into the live stream analysis, just kind of look at the interviews, what clips we see. I'm excited. So, without further ado, let's jump into it.
10 years ago, the saga of Max and Chloe began. Childhood best friends reunited in a cruel twist of fate and torn apart by a heartbreaking sacrifice in a supernatural storm. Now, Life is Strange reunion.
Okay, I just want to pause here for a second. You can see the police lights in the background, and you can see like the little particles going around. They are definitely reuniting the night of the fire, which makes me wonder where this in-between is going to, like these scenes are going to happen. You know, the scenes where we see Max and Chloe communicating and investigating together. That's something I'm a bit confused, but that's something I can't really find an explanation for. The only thing that kind of makes sense in my mind is that we will have a few days post-fire. A lot of the planning to prevent the fire is going to happen after it actually happens. That's the only explanation that makes sense in my mind, to be honest.
Union will bring this iconic duo back together again.
Also here, let me just say, Deck 9, you gotta give it to them. They are so freaking talented with their graphics and their visuals. This is absolutely stunning. And this actually reminds me, it's the orange glow, reminds me of the first episode of Life is Strange 1. Just so beautiful, you gotta give it to them.
As a devastating fire threatens Caledon University, Max and Chloe must face danger, make life or death choices, and unravel the disturbing truth behind Chloe's return.
Not again. It keeps getting
so
worse.
Excited to see this.
As the story unfolds, you'll play some scenes as Max and some as Chloe.
Side note, I didn't even plan to say this, but I just think it's amazing crossing it over so we can play as both of them. Mainly so because, especially with the first game, I know a lot of people relate it to Max and a lot of people relate it to Chloe. So this is like a thing for like kind of both, like, you know, like I know those who related to Chloe a lot more enjoyed Before the Storm because it was more of Chloe's story. So I like the fact we get to play as both girls and we get to, you know, see the story from both their perspectives. I think that's really nice.
Using Max's resurgent power of rewind and Chloe.
I gotta say, with this bucket, I hope we get a Samuel reference. That would be the best thing ever. That would be absolutely hilarious. I do wonder, though, what triggers Max's power to come back. You know, we found out she had the power to cross timelines triggered by Sophie's murder. So what's going to be the trigger in this game? What's going to be, how is she going to discover she can rewind again? Now, we got a hint of it in Double Exposure. If you remember, it's like a blink and you miss it type thing. If you get caught by aldermen while in Moses' office, Max will rewind. But it only happens if she gets caught. It's like, again, breadcrumbs. They were sprinkling out breadcrumbs with Max's power coming back. So I'm wondering, what is the trigger that brings it back in full force, you know?
His witty backtalk ability to investigate, save lives,
get us out of here!
And fight.
What I noticed, and this is very disturbing, but notice how the chains are on the door. So I can't remember if I said this in the trailer analysis or not, but there is some sort of drama with Abraxas, and it's like, I think it's kind of going down the route of, like, you know, they're protesting against the Abraxas house being demolished. This, in my opinion, could mean one of two things. Number one, they really, really made someone angry and they were out to kill. Or this could be part of the protest to not tear down the Abraxas house. You know, it could be the thing where they, like, you know, they chain themselves inside, like sit-ins or something like that. Which, again, doesn't make sense because the chains are on the outside. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a case of two events colliding. You know, it's going to be something to do with Abraxas and then the fire happens separately. I'm very interested. It's very freaking dark if someone put the chains on there.
Fight for their future together.
We'll figure it all out. I'm just so glad you're here.
In today's stream, we'll answer all your burning questions. We'll explore the
On the Abraxas wall there, you can see it says killers on it. So is that a story we did not see in Double Exposure? So Abraxas are the killers, maybe? I don't know. Definitely, I don't think we had any hints to this in Double Exposure, but like Abraxas are seen as killers, and that's probably the reason for the backlash and maybe for the fire. I just found it interesting that they're accused of being killers.
exciting return of Max's iconic power of rewind, glimpse into the fiery mystery that, depending on your choices, could claim the lives of Max's friends and students, and break down exactly how Chloe is back for everyone.
I seen this scene here and I seen some people panicking about it online. They're like, why is she flickering? Why is Chloe flickering? And there was a bit of panic over that. So this is definitely, you can tell by the lighting, this is part of the dream sequence. Absolutely. I think the flickering is literally down to the fact that she's stuck in a timeline in between life and death. So, you know, there was one timeline she died, the other timeline she lived. They were merged and now she's here. So the flickering could be like, you know, the contradiction between the two timelines, you know. One, she's dead, the other, she's alive. So therefore she's flickering. Does she really exist? Flickering is just a main part of the dream sequence. I don't think it's anything to do with the actual story. You know, I don't think she's going to vanish right in front of us. So
Everyone in this thrilling finale. But first, let's introduce two very special guests.
One thing I wanted to say about the boat scene, I just love the way Max looks at Chloe here. One thing I really hope we get from this is kind of like a story of Max and Chloe finding each other again. I say that like in the sense of, you know, they kind of get a reminder of why they fell in love, why they started dating, why everything happened the way it happened in the first game. Very normal for relationships to hit bumps. And when it came out that Chloe and Max were broken up, I wasn't that angry about it, to be honest. Like, I actually thought, I was like, understandable, you know? But I think like the important thing would be to kind of navigate it. Like, I wouldn't have been happy with a story where Max and Chloe broke up and there's nothing more said. I'm okay with Max and Chloe breaking up in Double Exposure if it's explored. And, you know, and we have the opportunity to do that in Reunion a bit more. But, you know, I hope this is a story of kind of like rediscovering themselves and like, you know, remembering where they started, where they came from. And sometimes it takes a little separation for you to reunite, you know?
Hey everyone, I'm Hannah Tell, and I play Max Caulfield, the girl who can rewind time.
Absolute sweetheart.
I'm so excited to finally talk about what's next for Life is Strange.
I love her so much.
But of course, I couldn't do it without my partner in time.
Hey, I'm Rihanna DeVries, and I play Chloe Price in Life is Strange Reunion.
Let me start by saying I only recently found out that Rihanna uses they them pronouns. So if I slip up throughout this video, I mean no offense, I am so sorry. I've literally only known like in the past 2 weeks. So I'm still like, you know, relearning. A lot of people are saying why Rihanna is back and not Ashley. And I'm not going to go into it too much because I don't work for Square Enix. I don't work for Deck 9, so I don't know. But Rihanna took over as Chloe because at the time before The Storm was in production, there was an actor strike and Ashley was part of that strike, so she could not come back. So she joined as a writing consultant and Rihanna took over as Chloe. A lot of people are asking why Ashley didn't come back, and there's a lot of factors to it. I don't know if the union situation that prevented her from coming back as Chloe before has a part to play here. There's some rumours of a strained relationship. Again, I don't know any of this. What I will say from a bit of experience, Ashley is a very, very expensive person to book, let me tell you. And it is really hard to book her because she is so busy and so popular and so in demand. And at the end of the day, Rihanna played Chloe before. Rihanna has connections with Deck 9, so it was probably just convenient for them to ask Rihanna to come back. I love Rihanna. I love Ashley. Both of them, respectively, are amazing as Chloe. I don't think there's any major drama behind it, but it really wasn't a surprise to me to see that Rihanna was back.
I'm seriously so stoked to be back. It feels amazing to finally share this with all of you. I first played Chloe in Before the Storm when she was just 16 years old. Getting to return to her now, older and more kick-ass, has been a dream as an actor.
And that's such a big part of this story, showing how Max and Chloe have grown and matured, but kept that spark that makes them them.
And one thing I'm very excited about is Max and Chloe was originally Hannah and Ashley, but they were that was all voice acting, you know? So I'm very excited to see, like, you know, the chemistry between Rihanna and Hannah, because they didn't do just voice acting, they did mocap, so all their scenes were acted out. So this is definitely something different, and I'm excited to see where this goes, because I think because it's new, it's going to have a bit of a natural feeling to it. If Hannah and Ashley mocapped Max and Chloe in season 1, I'd say it'll probably be like a strange transition now, having Chloe as a completely different person. But I'm very excited to see how they communicate with each other, considering that Hannah and Rihanna are mocapping together.
After Life is Strange 1, there's been a solo adventure for each of our characters.
And before the storm, Chloe was dealing with so much. Losing her dad, meeting Rachel, and feeling totally abandoned by Max. That time in her life was rough.
I feel like I've grown up with Max too. In Double Exposure, she was haunted by Chloe's absence even while she was trying to move forward. I mean, how do you move on from losing someone who's basically your soulmate?
This goes back to what I said earlier about playing both characters. Chloe had her own story that a lot of people related to. Max had her own story that a lot of people related to. I was in the group of people that I related a lot to Max in terms of personality, but I related a lot to Chloe in terms of situation. So I love this element of them both being back.
Chloe was always in the back of Max's mind. Even when Max was running around trying to solve a supernatural murder across 2 timelines. But now, finally, time and fate have brought Max and Chloe back together.
Max, you're kind of staring a lot.
Sorry,
I noticed something in this scene. Max is wearing the same outfit as the fire. That leads me to wonder if this scene we're seeing here, the night of the fire, I think my biggest concern with this game is that it's going to be a very brief reunion and that we might just get as little as 1 day with Chloe. I don't think it'll end up like that because the whole theme of this game is reunion, you know, so it wouldn't make sense for the reunion to be really brief. But again, I just don't understand how things line up if we reunite with Chloe the night of the fire. Like, how do we find Chloe again if we go back in time by 3 days?
Think I might be in shock.
Sure. Blast from the past and all.
In Life is Strange Reunion, Chloe has come to Max because she's suffering from these intense visions and impossible memories. And somehow she's also seeing Safi in her visions.
Right. This is an excellent example of trailer manipulation that I was saying in the last video. In this clip, we see Safi getting up, but it's the exact same clip from the trailer, but her outfit is totally different. So this is the point I was making in the last video, that it is so easy to manipulate the character models and positions and all that, which is why, even though I'm talking about it a lot, I'm trying not to think too deeply into the costume. So this is the exact same scene, but just 2 different outfits. To put into perspective how easy it is, the models are made for the game. The game engine knows what to do, knows what the character should be doing, but it's like, hey, where's the reference? You have the PC path that leads to the reference. So you link the model to the game engine, and the game engine will then do its thing. Okay, that's the model, that's what she needs to be doing, there's where she is. But you can easily change that path, and the engine will grab the model that you've given it and just do the exact same thing. So you could easily like put Max in that scene. The videos that we see of the character swaps, you know, the videos from Life is Strange 1 or even Double Exposure when the characters are switched or they look different, that's actually quite easy to do. That's not extreme level modding. That's actually one of the easiest things you can do. This is the exact same as Darkroom, the trailer, because Max had a different outfit on in the trailer and in the game. And it's the exact same here, which tells me that Deck 9 know what they're doing and they're being subtle. They're making subtle changes to try and throw us off guard. But this scene was the exact same in the trailer, only Safi was wearing her winter gear.
Max is, let's say, complicated friend from Double Exposure.
Oh, wait, hold up, Hannah. Because I know, like, half the people watching this right now are probably thinking, wait, what the hell? My Chloe's dead. But this game isn't just for people who sacrificed Arcadia Bay to save Chloe.
No, not at all. Actually, the best way to explain how Chloe is back for both sets of players is to just show you. This first clip is from the timeline where Max made the heartbreaking choice to sacrifice Chloe to save Arcadia Bay.
What else do you see in your visions besides her?
Me? Dying on the Blackwell bathroom floor. I know it's not real, but it feels so Did I die?
I saved you. No! Then when the storm came, you asked me to go back and undo it. You saved Arcadia Bay. When you died.
This is bad. Reality isn't supposed to work like this.
So that leads me to wonder, what does Chloe actually remember? This is the Arcadia Bay ending. Chloe did die. She has no memory of it. So it makes me wonder what in Chloe's head happened. I don't even know. This is confusing me, to be honest.
You're alive. I don't care how or why. This is beyond anything I ever dreamed of.
I just want to say as well, they need to nail the scene of their reunion in the timeline where Chloe dies. I want to be punched in the feels so hard that there's a cartoon outline of a fist out my back.
But what the hell happened? How am I here right now?
Let's back up.
When you save Arcadia Bay, Chloe dies and she has no knowledge of the week that they've been through. And obviously, when you save Chloe, she doesn't remember bleeding out in the bathroom because that never happened. She remembers the run up to it, but not the actual shooting. It blows my mind what she remembers, what she doesn't remember. Like, what did the encounter with Nathan even happen in this new timeline?
When did the visions start? Was it just before Christmas?
How did you know that?
Because last December, my friend Sophie lost control of her powers.
I just have to say this, and I feel so bad about saying this. Now, bear in mind, I'm not giving hate. This is a in development build, so it is going to look better when we get the game. But the lip syncing in this reminds me so much of SimGM. They were a YouTube channel that used to make parodies of TV shows using The Sims 2, but they used to do everything, down to the lip sync and everything. But that's literally what popped into my head when I was watching this. I feel so bad, but I don't mean that as like any shades towards Deck 9. This is still in development, but I just had to say it because it was just funny. It made me think of it.
For a while, there were two separate realities. One where Sophie was alive, one where she was dead. I managed to merge them back together. But maybe I merged more than that?
Okay, I was trying to work out this photo, but I was having no luck to it. So I was wondering, was that the selfie they took, the double exposure selfie? That looked like a hand at the bottom. I actually can't make out that, like, what the photo is, what that letter is. And of course, they blurred the image, they blurred the text. So thanks, Deck 9. So I'm trying to suss out what that is. Like, it's not a missing poster, it's like a proper letter, but why does it have Safi's picture on it?
So, when Max merged two timelines to save Safi's life, she also, without realizing it, merged the alternate realities where Chloe either lived or died.
So a few notes that I have here that I forgot to mention during that last clip it goes back to what does Chloe remember? Because, she says, did I die? But Chloe was always aware she died in the bathroom if Max didn't step in. That confuses me a little bit. So again, did the confrontation even happen? That just tells me that we're going to be getting a whole new story. Like, basically the events of Life is Strange 1 might not have happened for that Chloe.
Chloe may have the memories of both endings, but your Max still reflects the choice you made at the end of Life is Strange 1. To show you what we mean, let's see how that same scene you just watched plays out differently in the timeline where Max sacrificed Arcadia Bay to save Chloe.
What else do you see in your visions besides her?
A storm destroying Arcadia Bay. And my mom's grave. I know the town is fine and my mom's alive, but it feels so...
What do you mean? I don't know what's happening, but there definitely was a storm. And I'm so sorry, but your mom didn't make it.
Okay, it's pretty messed up for you to make me prove something like this, but voila. A selfie from my mom's gram. Stardate, 1 month ago.
Joyce is alive? In the town?
It's right where we left it.
That dialogue I want to highlight a bit because I've seen people theorize that this reunion is actually the first time Max and Chloe saw each other since they were 13. And I disagree with that. And the reason why was that line just there. Because when Max says, what about the town? And Chloe goes, it's right where we left it. I'd imagine if this was their first time seeing each other again since they were 13, Chloe would have said something more like, well, it's right where you left it. Right where we left it. That tells me that, you know, they did leave together. It makes me wonder, from Chloe's point of view, did that week happen at all? Or did it happen in an altered way? This part of the game messes me up a lot, to be honest. Like, it makes my head spin trying to make sense of it.
Oh, shit. How do we have two separate realities? And how is Arcadia Bay back?
As you can see, depending on your canon choice from the end of Life is Strange 1, you'll get different branching dialogue throughout Life is Strange Reunion.
And these merged.
Now, what I like about this is, so it's a nod to all endings. So there's the Sacrifice Chloe ending, where they kiss. There is the Sacrifice Arcadia Bay ending, and Sacrifice Chloe, where they just hug. So as you can see from there, you have the choice to kind of acknowledge all three. Like it or not, there is three endings, and they will. It looks like the three of them will be acknowledged through this when you make your choices. And I like that. I like that a lot. What I found very interesting about that was with the Sacrifice Chloe ending, I like how it was split in two, and I like how the change was so subtle.
Timelines mean Chloe's seriously messed up. She has nightmares of surviving the storm in Arcadia Bay, but she also has traumatic memories of bleeding out on the Blackwell bathroom floor.
And Max is still carrying all the weight from making her devastating choice. That kind of guilt doesn't just disappear, especially when the person you lost suddenly walks back into your life.
But this is a second chance for Max and Chloe to reconnect and rebuild their relationship as partners in time or something more.
What I love is that you get to guide.
And again, I personally like how we have that option in the game to end it with them as friends or end it with them as a relationship, because how I feel about games and how I always feel about games is it's your story, your experience. If you feel they're better as friends, then go down that route. If you think they're better as partners, go down that route. Video games are not just a story, they're also a personal reflection. The choices you make in choice-based games, they also link into you in many ways, because it's like, what would you do in this situation? So I like that we have the option to be partners again or be friends. I like how that those two options exist. I know people were saying like, oh no, it shouldn't, they're like partners, blah blah blah. Like, no, but I like how that exists. I like how it gives you the option, because your choice is how would you navigate that situation. Am I going all romantic in my playthrough? Hell yeah, I am. But I like how the option's there.
Max and Chloe's relationship as they find their way back to each other. Whether they reconnect as best friends or romantic partners, that's totally up to you.
I think I would have gone insane a long time ago without you as my confidant.
I gotta say though, Max and Chloe trying to figure out their relationship while literally everything is on fire? Terrible timing. All they want to do is work out what Chloe's return means for them and for reality. But of course, nothing's ever simple.
Nope. And like, who's going to believe them?
Emergency. Someone is trying to burn down the campus. No, I don't know who. No, I have no proof. No, I'm not a crazy lady.
These two have got to try and stop it on their own.
And the stakes are huge. Max's friends and students can die in the fire. Seeing them in danger is why Max used her last resort, jumping back 3 days through a Polaroid photo.
Oh God, I did it. I jumped into...
In my notes that I have here, I literally wrote, what came first, the Polaroid or the rewinds? This goes back to where I was wondering what triggers the rewind to come back. Another thing I put in my notes, and I just thought was very funny, what if with the use of the Polaroid camera, her powers can be swapped? So for example, she takes a photo, she rewind again. She takes another photo, her powers switch, and then she's back with the time jumping power. Then she takes another photo and they swap back, kind of like an on and off trigger. That was one thing I thought of, and I was like, that could make sense with the camera when she drops the camera at the fire. Maybe the Polaroid is acting as a power trigger. I'm probably thinking way too advanced here, but I just thought it was funny. It just came to mind, and I was like, oh, that would be interesting. That might make sense.
I jumped into a photo again. I'm sure this won't have terrible, far-reaching consequences for the school or the people I love.
Again, this could just be dialogue manipulation, but, you know, I'd imagine this scene, if it is the night she reunites with Chloe, how come Chloe wasn't one of her first thoughts, you know? But then again, this is probably just audio manipulation, you know, they're swap things around for the sake of the trailer, so.
In Life is Strange Reunion, Max can rewind from the very
Also, not the grandma mug! Not the grandma mug, why would you do that?
very start.
Which is super useful. At the touch of a button, she can use rewind to investigate, uncover secrets.
Or just hit undo when you're like, wait, no, I didn't mean to say that.
Yeah, we've all been there. I wish I had rewind in real life.
That scene with Moses is going to be our classic demonstration mechanic. You know, that's going to be the mechanic where we learn the power and get to practice it and all. And I know a lot of people are going to say, like, oh, why do we need that? Like, we already know how to use the power. But bear in mind, Life is Strange is designed to be friendly for new players, you know, without having to go back. So that mechanic isn't there for us. That's going to be there for anyone who's jumping in for the first time.
Let's take a proper look at it in action.
If you are an OG Life is Strange 1 player, then you'll know all about Max's rewind. And in Life is Strange Reunion, she has control over this time-bending power once again. Here's the lowdown on everything
I wonder on Max and Chloe being the nightmare together, because that's definitely the nightmare sequence.
you can do when you have an undo button in the palm of your hand.
Yoink.
Welcome back.
Rewind grants Max the power of knowing what the future will hold. Very handy. Although she always has to live through the present first.
Okay, time to search around and look for any clues.
Problem here. The door's locked.
So this is the basement of the Abraxas
Oh
building.
crap, someone else must be here.
This would be a classic stealth level that would have been in Chaos Theory. You know, like this is going to be a proper ninja power mode.
It's stuck. Someone must have locked it when they ran through before.
We'll give him the all clear. Come on, it's about to start.
What's about to start?
Charges set. Detonation commencing.
What the fuck? They're demolishing the house now?
So make sure the detonation start to fire. Well, not start to fire, but part.
I'll disable the charges. Are you fucking nuts? There's no time, we have to run.
Detonation in 10, 9.
Just stay back.
8.
I think this is an Abraxas lore that we've not been introduced to yet. It has to be.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What do I do?
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
This is crazy.
Crap.
1.
Does this scene remind anyone else of
What do I do?
the scene? Literally the first thing I thought of.
7, 6, 5, 4.
It's crazy.
1.
Holy shit!
We need.
Okay, so you cancel the demolition, but then what triggers the fire? I actually am leaning into the theory that the fire was to cover up something darker. That's what I think.
We need to get out of here before someone finds us.
If Max is in particular.
And also, let me point out, Max and Loretta were in a burning building. They were in the burning building together, and they were wearing different outfits again, not looking too deeply into that. I'm wondering, is that like a consequence of our actions? Like, one scenario, do we end up in the burning building? Other scenario, we end up here. Also, I have to give a shout out to the writers, like not just Deck 9, but any writers who take part in branch-based stories. Ugh, you're angels. You are gifted. I've written branch narrative before and it is so difficult. So like looking at this, like, I mean, fair play to you. Fair play.
If Max is in particular danger, her rewind kicks in as an automatic reflex.
One thing I wanted to point out here, Life is Strange, ever since the beginning, loves foreshadowing. Whether it was Deck 9 or Don't Nod, they were known for their foreshadowing. So, and I think that's why they blew up the kettle here. I think this is going to be a little tease, like a little foreshadow of what's to come, you know, even though we know there's going to be an inferno. I think that's just like a little preview of what's to come, you know?
she would otherwise be caught.
Also here, the house is boarded up, but as we see, the house was also boarded up when Max ran to it in the fire when the students were inside, which then leads me to think then it's back to the protest theory. The students locked themselves in out of protest for being knocked down. Again, I don't know why it's locked from the outside, not the inside, but with people in it, you know. The fact it's boarded up already, I mean, I don't know. I'm leaning very much into that protest theory, that they're protesting the building being knocked down. And that's how they all end up inside.
Hurt, maimed, or killed, giving you few precious moments to rethink your choices before you try again.
Hey, someone is here!
Max's rewind is more
what I want to point out here is Loretta joining you optional. That's what I'm wondering. Now bear in mind, they could have just hidden her character model, but it makes me wonder, is it possible to be able to do this story without her? Like, can you do this by yourself? So either you have two versions of the scene, or we just have classic trailer manipulation.
Responsive than ever, with the ability to freely rewind at any point, or to skip directly to your most recent action or choice, with those key actions still marked by the dots on the rewind spiral in the upper left of the screen. Oh, it's good to see you again, Rewind Spiral. Although the world rewinds around Max, you can take anything Max picks up back with you, solving puzzles from the past with tools from the future.
Yeah, so
sounds like an advert, that.
Yeah,
you just love watching you break things for science.
I know I won't remember it, but I still love watching it.
And
as Max doesn't move in space when she reverses time, you can use rewind to gain crucial extra seconds and cover any distance in the blink of an eye.
Max, why'd you leave the X? What happened?
Fire happened.
Whoa. And I was just gonna let it spark. Well, thank you, teleporting Max.
But while rewind is incredibly powerful, it still has its limits. And without taking the risky step.
Okay, I paused this right away when I first got a chance to look back on the trailer because I wanted to take in all the information that's here. Moses is definitely going to help Max test her power and learn what's safe, what's like not safe and all. For some reason, I feel like there's going to be a lot of emphasis on teleporting in this game, not just rewinding. Because I remember in the first game, there was always that question of like, if Max rewinds in front of somebody, what happens? What do they see? But I think this game might fill in that blank and put a little more emphasis on the teleporting end of rewinding. Okay, so according to the whiteboard, what is safe? Rewinding for 5 minutes or less, rewinding with small objects, making small changes to the past, rewinding in front of others, and then with the note, why does no one notice when Max teleports? So I did not know what this means. I still kind of don't know what it means, but it has perceptual completion written there, and I looked up the meaning of it because I didn't know what it meant. It's also known as filling in, a visual process where the brain constructs a complete and coherent image of an object even when parts of it are hidden or fall behind a blind spot. This is a fundamental cognitive mechanism that allows individuals to perceive whole uniform shapes by interpreting, I can't say that word, surrounding information. So that didn't answer my question. So I guess that means, are they seeing Max when she's not actually there? I think it's going to be one of those things you have to actually see it in game for it to make sense. Untested, timeline shifting, no evidence of other timelines seen since the merge. So that makes me wonder again, can the time shifting and the rewind coexist together? And are they both going to be present in this game? Because by the looks of it, because it's written here, it looks like Max may have the opportunity to do it again. I don't know, and that goes back to my camera theory. Can you swap your powers based on your Polaroid camera? It's stupid, but like, I mean, it made sense when I thought of it. So what to avoid? Photo jumping and large changes made in the past. So I guess that means don't let any tornadoes happen. So yeah, don't change the course of reality, basically. So a few things I looked at while doing my sleuthing. Every Friday in August is marked off on the calendar. So I wonder what that indicates. The game does look very fall themed, so maybe this is August. But then again, I think Max is only supposed to be a resident for a year, so there's an article about Safi. I could just barely make out the text, but I had unanswered questions at the end of it. And at the very end of it, you can see photos of Moses. So I think this is more like, this is going to be from them testing her power. You know, they're going to be taking photos for references and stuff.
Of jumping back in time through a photograph, Max can only rewind a few minutes at a time, meaning that
So I had a look at this scene here. I don't know who that person is on the couch behind her. Not unless it's Lucas. I don't think it is though, but I'm just wondering the whole context here, you know. Is this the night of the fire? Is it a few days before? I think Max is wearing the mask to gain entry. I think that's what that's for.
She can't undo something that happened before she arrived, and that every second still counts.
I acted on instinct. I hope it was the right choice.
With Chloe and Rewind back in Max's life, she's finally got everything she needs to take on a whole new mystery.
And while Chloe doesn't have a power like Rewind, she does have a supernatural level of self-confidence when it comes to getting answers. That's right. Backtalk is back, baby.
I love how Chloe's power is basically just her being unapologetically Chloe.
Absolutely.
This stresses me out a little bit. This stresses me out that we can play as two characters. One that can undo things and the other that can't undo things. So I think the game's going to be so stressful in that regard because you're going to be playing a bit of a mix, you know, where you're playing as Max, and if you mess up, that's okay, you can go back and change it. But if you mess up as Chloe, it's finalized. There's no fixing that, you know. So I feel like the game's going to be very, very stressful in that part. I'm very curious to see if myself or others see this happening. But are you going to get so comfortable making choices as Max, you're going to do the same as Chloe? Because you do have less of a guard of playing as Max because you can rewind, you know?
Absolutely. And we've got John Zimmerman back at the helm leading the writing. He wrote Chloe in Before the Storm, so it really felt like coming home.
That alone tells me the writing is going to be great for the backtalk because let's be honest, the backtalk in Before the Storm was brilliant, was iconic. So I think we are in for a treat now with the backtalk and reunion. Let me just say, that scene is going to be so freaking awkward for me because not only did I woo Amanda, but I also was wooing Chloe. I have some explaining to do. When I do my double exposure replay, I am not kissing Amanda. I am sorry. I'll dig myself into that hole. Worry about the consequences later. Right, let's continue.
Planetarium, you say? If I make it to Monday, I know what my plans are.
That dialogue makes me wonder if I make it to Monday, I know what my plans are. So at this point in the game, does Chloe know that there's a fire on the way that she could potentially die in? Once I thought about it, I was like, ooh, like, does she know that something big is going to happen and she could potentially be killed in it? Because we do know, I do think prior to Max photo jumping, I do think her emotes are killed. So at this point in the game, is Chloe well aware of that?
Hey, didn't I kick your ass out? You're going on the banned list. Are you a student?
No.
Good. Then I'm banning you from campus, too. Name?
Shit. Better think fast.
The illustrations for Backtalk are absolutely stunning.
I'm actually a prospective graduate student.
They're gorgeous.
I'm here to visit campus.
What program?
I'm doing astrology and whatnot.
Uh-huh. And where are you matriculating from?
Max and Chloe and them both being playable is such a smart idea. It's such a clever move because, as going back to what I just said, Max is known for undoing things. You can kind of relax a little bit as you play Max. But then with Chloe, her actions are final and you can't afford to fuck it up.
At key moments, Chloe can use backtalk to humorously infiltrate the campus, wrestle key information from people, and delve deeper into the mystery.
Or in true Chloe fashion, just throw some shade.
Yeah. And
We do like
all
shade.
outcomes in backtalk are entertaining. But remember, they will have an impact on how people treat Chloe. And that can have ramifications for the investigation.
Speaking of the investigation, Max and Chloe are teaming up again. But this time, they'll need to figure out why the fire started, to trace who's behind it. Max thinks it could be arson.
Someone set this fire on purpose.
So we have some Molotov cocktails there, but let me tell you, you're going to need a lot more than that to make a fire that extreme. For every freaking building on campus, you're going to need a lot more than that. For some reason, at this point in the trailer, I'm just looking at my notes, the lake scene occurred to me in episode 3 where Max was able to swap the lakes. So I'm wondering, is there going to be something in the game which means she can swap the location of the fire? That would make perfect sense if the time shifting is back. But I wonder, can she do something similar where she can move the fire between timelines, you know? So let's say that building's on fire, shift it to a different timeline, get everyone out, shift it back, type of thing.
But was it a vendetta against the school?
Also, I will say here, starting the blaze to cover up something darker, I think is the most plausible explanation. And I think that's the direction it's going to go down. But as I just mentioned, why is every building in the campus on fire? Safi does have an evil look about her in this teaser. So I think she's the mastermind of it. Like, even if she didn't start it, I think she is the mastermind behind the plotting.
A burst of anger from Lakeport locals? Or did someone start the blaze to cover up something far darker?
To bring the truth to light, Max and Chloe will need to chase down every lead they can.
Violent protests, resentful staff, a secret society? There are many threats and theories vying for your attention, while the clock counts down to disaster.
With so many lives at stake, Max and Chloe will be forced to make difficult decisions. Everyone at Caledon is at risk. Who can be saved? With Rewind and Backtalk at your fingertips, that will be down to you.
Where did all this come from?
That look scares me. That look scares me. That shot, I don't like that shot at all, because what I read from that is Max has some responsibility in the fire, and that is her realizing it. That is her realizing, like, you know, I caused this fire, or like it's something that she did that led to the fire. I really, really hope I'm wrong, but that was my first impression when I seen this, and I don't like it. I really hope I'm wrong. And Moses has Chloe there. Again, maybe will it go to sacrifice self? I do not. So I am scared of the idea of a sacrifice self ending. I personally don't want it. I think it'd be pretty weird to have this literally ongoing 10-year story only for the character to die at the end. So I hope there's not a sacrifice self ending.
And that's about it for today's reveal show. We seriously cannot wait for you to experience this game.
Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.
Angels.
Life is Strange Reunion is the big finale to the Max and Chloe saga. A time-bending mystery full of supernatural second chances.
If you actually look at that scene backwards, you can see like a scene of Chloe running off. But I think this more, I just realised as well, just looking at the trailer, Max has the mask. She's holding the mask. So this probably is a scene where Chloe steals it for her. But I think this scene here is going to be like one of the goofy Max and Chloe scenes. If you rewind this scene, you actually can, you know, see them talking and Chloe walking off.
Life or death choices. And
one thing I noticed here, Chloe is not wearing her beanie. And I know this is just a dream sequence, but I was curious as to why she suddenly hasn't got her beanie anymore when that was like her iconic look in the first game.
A whole lot of heart. As the story unfolds, you'll play some scenes as Max with Rewind.
Okay, so we have a scene where Max used her Rewind to get into the building.
And others as Chloe with Backtalk. Both investigating this mystery of who will start the fire at Caledon. And why.
Maybe we still stopped the... Max?
I don't think we stopped anything.
Okay, so the fire starts at the Abraxas house. And here, obviously, we go prior to the fire being started. And Max is wearing the same outfit that she wore to that gathering. So there's another little hint that we can time shift again, because notice how Max was wearing that outfit and the mask and she was gaining access to the house. Here she is wearing the exact same one, exact same outfit, what appears to be the exact same night, and it's about to be burnt down. That tells me the time shifting is going to come back. You'll all burn. I am so curious of the context of that. Like, I don't think Sophie had a vendetta against Abraxas. Again, I didn't pay much attention to Abraxas in Double Exposure, so it makes me wonder if there's something we overlooked, you know? I really want to go back and play it and try again. See, can I find that?
You can pre-order Life is Strange Reunion now. And in the meantime, keep an eye on the Life is Strange channels for all the good stuff. And let us know what you want to see next by dropping a comment below.
So what I found curious is Max and Loretta were in the basement earlier, but now Max and Chloe are. So I guess they're trying to uncover something. Like, that could be a situation as maybe it'll unfold in the sense that we can't stop the fire, but we can get what they're trying to destroy out before the fire takes it.
He knows what will happen next, but it will happen to
Look at her
us.
little face.
Okay? Because I'm not going anywhere.
Visit lifeisstrange.com and your digital store for more info.
Yeah, I'm very, very curious. I think what I got out of that was the shifting timelines. I'm leaning very heavily to swapping between rewind and time shifting. I think that'll be interesting. I'm very, very excited to see like Max and Chloe's like abilities overlap as well. I just think it's such an interesting mix to have a game where you play as both Max and Chloe. Like 10 years ago, I would have been screaming at this idea. Like, I wanted this 10 years ago and now we're getting it. I think my biggest concern for this game is that we're obviously going to have Chloe, we're going to have Max, but I'm like, when are they going to cross over? Like, I'm kind of worried that this is going to be a game about Chloe and Max, but not so much of Chloe and Max together, if that makes sense. That's what I'm kind of concerned about, but I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Yeah, overall my thoughts on this game is that it looks absolutely stunning. The graphics are gorgeous, the lighting, the characters, everything is gorgeous in it. This is Deck 9 going all in. As I said, I always felt that they played safe too much, but I feel like this is them, like, you know, taking their risk with something big, you know? Especially in video games, like this type of stuff would not be easy to pull off, you know, like with the rendering of the fire, like the development end of it, like all those effects in the game would be very difficult and very expensive to do. So it does take a good, like it would take a leap of faith to pull off something huge, especially in a game. And I feel like this is Deck 9 finally doing that. I feel like they're finally taking the risk and not playing it safe. And I am genuinely very excited to see how it turns out. Again, I like the multiple. I like how everything is being taken into account. Does it respect both endings? That's something I don't want to answer till I finish the game. When I finish it, I'll share my thoughts. But for now, in terms of respecting both endings, I think they're doing it to the best they can. Like, a lot of people were saying both endings weren't respected because Max and Chloe broke up. I feel like the context that they meant was both endings were respected in the sense that this isn't a game exclusively for people who saved Arcadia Bay or people who saved Chloe. You know, you can play it either way. Unfortunately, it's not the ending people wanted, but I do think at the moment they've respected it to the best they can. I will talk about it more when I finish the game, like, was both endings respected properly? At the moment, I would say to the best of their ability, I think it is, you know? And I do like how that subtle ending where they don't kiss is being acknowledged as well. Like, I like that. I like how all options are being taken into consideration here. So if you made this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to share some theories, comments, if you want to add to anything I said. If you guys got any ideas out of this video of what might happen, do let me know. I love reading them. And I will see yous in the next one. Bye!